My name is Marianne Gil-Lian, and I go by Gil-Lian because my maiden name was Gil, which I'm very proud of. It's actually a Mexican-American name. I married a guy named Andy Lian, and we met at PUC. We have 3 kids. We've now been at Sunnyvale, I would say it's been over 15 years, and we're very happy here. And I started doing music at Miramonte mostly because my daughter Ella loved music but was a little shy, and so I wanted to get her more active, and I thought, well, the easiest way is if I'm also involved. And part of why I do Melody Makers has to do with how I was as a little girl, and I was a daughter of immigrants. My parents immigrated from Mexico. I always felt a little bit of an outsider at that school. I was the only Hispanic, the only Mexican. There was a woman at this school I attended in Sacramento who had a select group of children in a children's choir. And I remember the feeling of being in that choir and singing and feeling so special, and what a boost for my self-esteem and confidence. So bringing it over to Miramonte it encourages empowerment in these little girls, and it gives them confidence. And I see these little faces, and I'm reminded of how I felt and how I looked as a little girl. And I just really want these girls to know they're special. It's more of just a fun club type of activity.
I will trust in you.
I was raised in a typical Adventist home. My parents emigrated from Mexico, and they both became citizens, and they both believed in the power of education. And I took it all for granted. I think I was one of those lazy Adventists, and I went off to college, and I ended up leaving PUC, and I attended UCLA, and it was more of a worldly type of environment, and I didn't attend church for a number of years while I was there. And I don't think I felt anything special or different with my relationship with God until the last few years. And it's a little bit hard for me to talk about it, but I've always felt that my life has been blessed in so many ways until my father was diagnosed with lymphoma when he was only 62. But even then, he seemed to be doing okay. He lived with it for about 12 years, and he was on remission most of those years. But 3 or 4 years ago, it came back with a vengeance, and he was re-diagnosed in June, and by September of that same year, he was gone. We were all devastated. The room he died in, it was full of family. I held his hand as he passed away. Then, more tragedy struck. My mother, who had been in excellent health, she's 76, 77, never had been sick in her life. A nurse was still working. 3 months after my dad died, she's diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma, same as what he had. She's dead in a year and a half. She died Thanksgiving morning of last year. I became very angry, and I had been praying that, God, don't take her. You've already taken our father. She again, like my dad, she died in a room with her family surrounding her. I held her hand. I watched her take her last breath. I went through a few weeks where I questioned, God, why did you do this to us? But now I've realized in the last year and a half since her death that God was there for us, and the prayers that I asked, he answered. It may not have been the answer I wanted, but his response was to give me strength and to give my sister and my brother and I strength. So my relationship with God has actually been just a thousandfold better because of this, even though I hate to say it comes at the I can't think because I'm crying, but it comes at us having to lose our parents. But I feel that ever since that day, my eyes have been open to something different. When I sit and listen to the music, I often sit in the pew and cry when I hear some of the songs, and some of them, especially when they talk about Jesus, just the name Jesus has just left an imprint in my heart that I don't think was there, even though since day one I was raised an Adventist, and I've known every memory verse in scripture that the Adventist kids learn in the academy. I've learned all those, and none of them meant anything to me until I lost my parents. So one of the scriptures I really wanted to mention is, this really helped me when my parents were both on hospice, and it's from Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from where comes my help. I thought I would be devastated, and of course I'm so sad, but at the same time it's given me a new hope in seeing them again, and just so many wonderful memories.